another one.
Developers doing end-to-end testing? Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, developers are doing end-to-end testing automation too. So, are we safe as automation testers in the future, or is test automation going to be merged into dev roles as their responsibility? Manual testing gone now in some X amount of years. There is no test automation as independent role, but part of the developer. Before you scream, it's going to be a long one, so please bear with me. These people can be very, very long-winded at times. It's like they're writing a Dear John letter, whoever John is, or is it a Dear Sally letter? Whatever. So before you scream, I'm not saying test automation is not needed here. I'm taking view if it will be as a separate role in coming future. Before I ask, I had a conversation with many folks of my management and also other test seniors in the industry. Unfortunately, I have been shut down by my management by giving a logical explanation, which I don't have any counter. Below are the sample conversations that's happened. So this person says to management, I have, and so many other test veterans have not seen except a few good developers who catch bugs. So how can they even write automation testing? The answer is the quote veteran tester. I call them legacy veteran tester. This mindset were honed by legacy seniors, which is now being busted and changed and challenged. Code owner is responsible for testing. Devs don't write earlier because we give them this benefit of the doubt and they see testers, so they don't write. They're being pampered. Now they know it. I see things being changed dramatically. And specifically for new joiners, I don't see this problem at all. We are making new generations of developers. Okay, so let me break it down. So what they're saying, the manager is saying that older engineers, they do not have the testing mind frame. I'm telling you the truth. New ones don't either. But so they're saying though, like by bringing them in to say, okay, your responsibility is to test as well. So that it's a new generation of developers, right? Is the Gen Z developers, all right? So another thing he says to management, but testing needs to be independent as we humans have problems of cognitive bias. The same person writing code can't write end-to-end automation. The management responds, my friend, I agree with both of your points, but bias are so long you are not aware. But now that you are aware, you can manage your bias regarding independent testing. Also, I agree, but why we will build resources for this? I hire only dev for independence. I am buying Gen AI Copilot license. Get it reviewed for same. All right. So, okay. Another thing he says to management, but you do really think do you really think that Gen AI tools will understand our scenario and help? Management says, look, I know where you're going. I don't want team stamping on Gen AI capability. Have you heard about market is never wrong? Do you know market valuation of Gen AI? You are not able to make it work. It's a tool. Humans are required, but you need to learn how to use it to the best of its ability with your skills. It will not do everything magically, but you can use it to a large extent for what you're looking for, provided you are open and ready to use it. Let's see. So look at our code. Out of strong answers, I searched the whole company instance of Git and I see the same folks doing front end work and writing wonderful Playwright Cypress tests end to end. All right. I can't take any more of this question. All right. I cannot take any more of this question, but I will answer the question. So here's the deal. Here is the deal with this. Developers writing, can developers write end-to-end tests? Yes, they actually can write it, but the problem with and does that mean that all companies are going to replace QA people with developers? Absolutely not. Why can they not do that? Because it's too expensive and slow. I'll put it like this. The ratio for QA to developer is normally like 3 or 4 developers to 1 QA person. All right. And what that allows is for the developers to get a lot more work done, get to the client faster. And now the QA person is maneuvering around the work that the developer is doing. So the QA person will be analyzing the risks, because if you if you have everyone who see the same thing the same way, then you're going to miss out on particular risks and things that can happen. There's been so many times that I've been able to point out different potential problems that would have if we were to release the software this particular way, or when we're designing how we're going to approach it, things like that. Like I said earlier, the biggest problem that I see with people in QA is that they do not make their value known. They do not make their value seen. You just want to sit back and wait for things to happen. And then you're like, oh, now after all the work is done, you're like, oh, there's a problem here, there's a problem here, there's a problem there, there's a problem there. I don't like that. I believe in proactive quality assurance. So what is that? What do I mean by proactive quality assurance, right? So from the inception of the project, I'm already thinking about quality. So now in all the conversations that we're having, I'm trying to understand better what the developers and the engineers are talking about, what the product owners are talking about. I'm looking for potential flaws and risk early. So that way I'm adding value at every step of the way. So now when we're having these conversations, I'm like, okay, did you consider this? Oh, do you think this would be better? How do you think about the user experience about this? And now I'm making my voice be heard. And now once we actually start implementing, I'm making sure, I'm also making sure that the acceptance criteria actually makes sense and we have something very detailed that follow along. Now, adding to that, once we actually start implementing, I'm getting I'm communicating what I'm going to be looking for in testing very early on. So now the developer has all of this in mind, so that as they're building, as they are developing, they already know what I'm looking for. So they're working around that. And I also get from them, okay, what are some things that you can see that I'm missing in our testing approach? Now, when we operate that way, so I'm writing out all my scenarios that we're going to be looking for testing, and they are so once they are done, I'm already starting my automation tests, and now we can have those 3 developers. They are like, as they are finishing things up, they start looking at other things. Sometimes if there's way too much to test, then they can also participate. But the key is, if all the testing was to rely on so they write the code to develop the application, but then they also write the code to do all the end-to-end testing. Testing is you need to be able to put on a different hat. When I'm leading the tech barbarians, right, and I'm doing development code, there are things as a developer that I don't see because I have the hat on of a developer. Even when I'm doing test-driven development, I have the hat on of a developer. So now when I have to go back and see it from a QA perspective, I have to put on a different hat, right, to see it the way that they're seeing. And that's why the tech barbarians, they've been able, oh, there's a bug here, there's a bug there. So it's totally different. You have a person who relies on solely testing their own work. They're doomed. It's guaranteed failure. So should we also say that engineers they're going to do their own code reviews as well? No. So you need to have that level of separation, and especially in regulated industries, there is a high level of separation as well. So there has to be a QA team. There has to be a development team. There has to be a DevOps team. At one company that I was at, the developers were not allowed to deploy. It had to be QA that had to deploy because they need to have separation in the roles. Those are for like regulated. That was a pharmaceutical industry, right? So so those are the things but the reason, the number one reason that QA is going, it seems that QA is being pushed aside, is because QA for too damn long has been sitting on their butts, waiting instead of being proactive and adding value. So when you don't add value, then you will be replaced. If you added value, you wouldn't be crying about AI. That's my thoughts behind it. And that's why I am very, very meticulous in how I lead the tech barbarians into war every single day. All right. So let's wrap. Sorry for that long and complicated question. Hopefully the answer though was very, very clear. All right.
Yo, living in this chaos, I can see it clear. People slacking off, yo, I can feel the fear. Trying to make it big, but they just playing games. While I'm busting my ass, they just chasing fame. What's the point of grinding if you don't hold it down? Hear me out, we gotta get it right. No more lazy walks, we gotta reignite. Rise above the noise, push through the pain. Don't let this dream slip, let's break those chains. Got my eyes on the prize, but it's looking real grim. When you ask for the truth, they pretend it's a whim. Success ain't a joke, man, it's blood, sweat, and tears. So why you out here fronting, drowning in your fears? We all want the glory, but do we want the grind? Hear me out, we gotta get it right. No more lazy walks, we gotta reignite. Rise above the noise, push through the pain. Don't let the dream slip, let's break those chains. So step up, don't fall back, let's do what's true. Wanted, it starts with me and you. Yo, living in this chaos, I can see it clear. People slacking off, yo, I can feel the fear. Trying to make it big, but they just playing games. While I'm busting my ass, they just chasing fame. What's the point of grinding if you don't hold it down? Hear me out, we gotta get it right. No more lazy walks, we gotta reignite. Rise above the noise, push through the pain. Don't let the streets slip, let's break those chains. But let's break those chains. Let's break those chains. Let's break those chains. Let's break those chains. Got my eyes on the prize, but it's looking real grim. When you ask for the truth, they pretend it's a whim. Success ain't a joke, man, it's blood, sweat, and tears. So why you out here fronting, drowning in your fears? We all want the glory, but do we want the grind? We want the glory, but do we want the grind? Yeah. So step up, don't fall back, let's do what's true. If we really want it, it starts with me and you. Yeah. So step up, don't fall back, let's do what's true. If we really want it.